Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Om Anjaneya Matipatalananam Kanchana Trikamaniya Vigraham Parijata Tarumulavasinam Bhavayami Pavamananandanam Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Kritamhastakanjalim Bhashpavari Paripurnalocanam Marutim Namata Rakshasantakam Manojavam Marutatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtham Vatatmajam Vanarayuta Mukhyam Sri Ramadutam Shirasa Namami. It's our cultural practice to remember God before we begin any work. In the process, we have also seen that there are ever so many gods in Hindu religion, and there is one God in Islam and there is one God in different places. But in fact, there is only one God. No matter how you visualize God, it's up to you. Everything is up to you. We know that our body is made up of 5 elements, and in which the second most important subtle element is air. Along with ether, air goes to improve our health in many ways. And we are going to study today what are the different ways by which air can help us. Then we live because we breathe, or because we are breathing. Because we live, we are breathing. Either way you can take it. A person who dies naturally is usually referred to as he breathed his last. We all breathe, human beings, animals, and all the plants, we all breathe. And this breathing process is regulated in order to improve our health. We don't give any attention to our breathing process. And air inside the body not only gives oxygen and eliminates carbon dioxide, those are things, but there are so many vital things that air does, which the Vedanta explains to us.
Julie?
Vedanta is a collection of scriptures, 4 Vedas, so many Upanishads, and so many other scriptures, all put together comes Vedanta. Vedanta explains to us the order of creation. In the order of creation, second, the most important element is the air. Now we are going to see, we have seen the power of air in nature. There are tornadoes and hurricanes and so many different devastations that has been done by the air. The entire state of Florida was devastated with one hurricane that came in 1986 or something like that. Now we have seen such big devastations done by air. Air is very powerful. We heard from the Puranas that Hanuman lifted a whole Meru Parvat from Himachal and he flew all the way across to Sri Lanka, the other end of the country, and he was able to bring so much weight. And in the Mahabharata, Bhima was the son of Vayu god, like Hanuman is the son of Vayu. So Vayu means wind god. So these are all stories. We don't have to worry about if it is an epic, if it's an imagination or real story. we have to understand that all these Puranas, Vedas, Upanishads are there giving us a message. That message is that use air for your strength, for your health, for your better health. So next slide, please. All living beings, plants and plants breathe. Air is a very essential element for us. Ether and air, next, yeah. The plants and living beings we breathe, we have already said that. Part ether and air together works in our life to shape our life to a better one. Like the clay pot, you have to shape it when you revolve in a circle and the clay goes around, and we put our finger in such a way that it shapes it. So ether and air here are working together to shape our lives. What do you mean by shape? Physical shape, mental shape, and spiritual shape. They're all one, but we have to understand how air helps us. Those are the different details that we are going to come across. See, when they apply pressure in certain areas of that part, that goes inwards, and you apply pressure inwards and you make it broader in certain places. Those are the things. When we breathe in air, it goes inward and it shapes our internal body. And when we are holding the breath after exhaling, the outside body is shaped. So minute details are there which we have not thought about and we have not cared about. And we are going to see, next slide, please. We have seen in science that we breathe out carbon dioxide, and that's taken by plants. And they breathe out oxygen that we take. Interchange of gases we take, and we manage to live with mutual help of all other beings. So there is a plan in the entire world on this earth how these gaseous exchanges take place. Air is not just a carbon dioxide or oxygen. It has got all the elements that is there in the world. Organic, inorganic, all the things are there in the original form in the air. And then only certain elements combine together to make the fire, and combination of ether, air, and fire make the water. How can fire make water? All those things will be answered in science, but we know by people who have some scientific knowledge that when you heat the air, it becomes a cloud, and from the cloud, there are two electrodes which come together, come near, and then they have lightning, and the water becomes again coming down as rain. All those things we have studied in school. Next slide, please. So there are so many things that happens outside in the world, but we are mainly concerned with our human respiratory system. It starts from the nasal cavity when we breathe in air through the nose, and it goes through the pharynx and larynx and bronchitis and trachea, and it goes to the lungs through the trachea. One goes to the left side, one to the right side. We have two lungs, and the lungs on the left has got two lobes because it has to accommodate the heart, and the lungs on the right side has three lobes. It can expand on the side, and it downwards and upwards, and the left hand side the lungs will expand on the sideways. So there are so many small tubes, bronchioles, and this ends with so small cup-like structure which is called alveoli. They open and blow out the air, and then they suck the air and keep it closed. And this door of the alveoli is sensitive. It senses the need and functions on its own without our having to say, hey, you are not working. Yeah, get up and start working. Do this, don't do that. We don't have to say anything like that. They all have their own intelligence, and they operate in a manner that it helps us to maintain healthy life. So when we see the details of the respiratory system, we are perplexed. Oh my God, what all is going on? How do we know when when to stop the breath, when to start the breath? There are occasions when you have to stop the breath. When you cross over some area where it's too much of poisonous gases, your body immediately tells you to breathe in deep before you come there, and you hold the breath and quickly pass through the area, and then you breathe in. I've seen in Mumbai, I visited one marketplace where there is a wholesale market, and there is a section where they sell meat and other non-vegetarian products. When you from the entrance, that's what it is. So when you enter, before you enter, you breathe in deep and hold the breath and quickly pass through that area, and then come to area where they sell fruits and vegetables. Oh, what a beautiful sight it is. And look at that, then you can take a sigh of relief and you can breathe better. So this capacity to hold the breath has to be practiced. Sometimes we are not able to hold the breath and we inhale bad air, and that becomes harmful. So the respiratory system is not, some people say control the breath, control the breath. No, it's not a question of controlling, it's a question of regulating. Next slide, please. That's why we are taught a system by our forefathers, a system which is we call pranayama. Prana ayamaha. Prana is life, ayamaha means exercise. Exercise of life in a manner that we improve our health with the help of air. How to regulate the air passage in our body so that we could improve. Supposing it cannot be proved now, but scientifically it has been seen that certain persons live long and some people live short, but the number of breaths that we are supposed to take in our life, some people say it is already set. They have given you the number of times you have to breathe, and if you have finished that number of breaths, you die. Whether you want to believe it or not, it may be a belief system, it may be scientific, but right now all that we care is by holding the breath and not breathing for some time, we are gaining the time. We are also giving relaxation to the body. Certain parts of the body don't get no rest at all. We are keeping on breathing all the time, whether we are sleeping or awake, all the time we are breathing. The breathing organs, if you give rest, it's a scientific proof, rest gives recuperation. Any part of the body which you give rest becomes recuperated and is able to perform better. So this pranayama session has been given to us by our forefathers to regulate our breath so that we will give intervals where we don't breathe. We have popularly, people inhale, hold the breath, exhale, and again inhale, hold the breath, exhale. 3 parts of the breathing popularly everybody practices. But my grandfather said after his research in the Puranas, he found out there need to be a 4th part. That is, you inhale, fill the lungs with plenty of air, expand the lungs, and hold the breath. And then exhale, and after exhaling, empty the lungs, almost empty. You cannot totally empty the lungs, and there will be very little air in the lungs, and you breathe out and again hold the breath. When you inhale, the lungs are working. The entire respiratory system is working. When you hold the breath inside the lungs are working, every entire breathing system is working, respiratory system is working to hold the air inside the lungs. And there are so many interchange of gases that we'll come to later, and that is working. And when you exhale the air, that's lungs and the respiratory system is working to remove the air. After you exhale the air, when you hold the breath, nothing is working. You're all given a chance to relax. The alveoli, the bronchi, bronchioles, and the trachea and lung walls, they all get a chance to relax. This relaxation cannot be done for a long time because we don't have practice. When you breathe out and hold the breath, you can't hold the breath for a long time in the beginning. But when you practice and practice and practice, and you know there are certain involvements of the mind which will make it easier and which will make it for a longer duration. If you learn those things, you got it. You got a great power in you to regulate your life in such a manner that you are living but not breathing. You have not finished the count of breaths. And you are giving rest to the lung walls and every respiratory system. When you give rest to any part of the body, it gets recuperated. It works even better than before. Is there any doubt about that? You don't. Any part which you give rest gets recuperated is known by everybody. So when we do this, inhale, hold the breath, exhale, hold the breath. And according to each one's capacity, don't exercise too much, don't make it violent, don't make it more than your capacity. Extend it a little more than your capacity, and then start breathing in. Now that you have held the breath for a little more, then you have a tendency to inhale very fast. Don't get scared. The idea to improve your breath comes with calm mind. Calm your mind. Everything is okay. We are going to inhale. We are not going to die without holding the breath. Those things we will know after regular practice. In the beginning, whatever you can do according to your capacity. As you practice and increase the duration of holding the breath after exhaling, you will be able to see that that duration is increasing day by day, little bit. And then there are persons who are able to hold the breath for a long time after exhaling. How did they get that capacity? We are going to go through the details of the pranayama, and then we will understand all that. We have seen this 4 steps. Inhale, puraka, means filling it. Hold the breath, kumbhaka, antarik kumbhaka, inside you hold it. Exhale is rechaka. And hold the breath outside, bahya kumbhaka. After exhaling, you hold the breath. It's called bahya kumbhaka. This is 1 unit of pranayama. It has got 4 parts. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. And now we do continuously 5 units. Again, inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Like that, you can design your own ways, but the suggested method is to inhale through the left nostril, hold the breath, exhale through the right nostril, hold the breath, inhale through the right. Wherever you exhaled, you inhale through that side, hold the breath and exhale through the other side. This is regulating the breath. You may say, no, the popular sense is to keep doing 5 units from left, 5 units from right. That's okay. Don't become too serious about those details. The most important detail is to hold the breath after exhaling. And that has to be extended by gradual practice. So when you do the 5 units of breathing, one unit is this way, another is in this way, like that. You do 5 units, and after doing 5 units, stop doing the pranayama, close your eyes, bring your fingers to have the yoga mudra and keep it down, and just do the normal breathing. When you do the normal breathing, you have to observe the normal breath with your eyes closed. Close the eyes and observe the normal breath. How much air is going in, how much air is coming out, that also you keep watching it. When you keep watching it, wonderful things happen. What wonderful thing happens? The breath becomes subtler and subtler until the stage comes where there is no breathing. Oh, don't be scared. There's nothing to be scared about it. This is a natural process. And initially, you won't get to that stage. After practicing for few days for some people, few weeks for some more people, few months for some people. It doesn't matter how soon you get it. When you get it, you will know the real value of pranayama. What is the real value of pranayama? Come to a stage of not breathing. That's called samadhi. When you do the dhyana, dhyana means focus on the breath. When you focus on the breath with no worries at all, completely relaxed mind, when you observe the breath, how much air is going, how much air is coming, keep keenly watching. Another wonderful thing happens. What is that? Thoughtlessness. Thoughts also vanish and breathing comes to a stop. Breathlessness and thoughtlessness. Oh my God, what's this? Samadhi. You are living but not using your breath. That's what many rishis and munis, ancient scholars in India practiced. And they were told to be living for hundreds of years. I don't know whether it's an exaggeration or real. That's not important. But the fact here is that I have practiced pranayama and I have seen that this can be done. What can be done? Stage of breathlessness and thoughtlessness. Well, it's another joke that he's thoughtless. He doesn't think about us. He's just rude and all that. That's not the thoughtless. There is no thoughts which comes in the mind, and you are in absolute peace. And we have referred to this question earlier in another chapter. Whether I've said it here or not, all that I would say is there was a session for children, Bal Vikas, children's class in a Hindu temple in our Florida. There was one question raised by a girl which challenged all the adults. She asked, what's religion? We'll deal with that later. But she asked, why should we pray? How is that related to this pranayama? We are not seeking any blessing from God, any gift from God. That's not prayer. Prayer is a stage where there is no thoughts coming. Our mind is in between two thoughts. Always we are jumping from two kinds of thoughts. What is that? One is to hope to get something. Another is the fear of losing something. Our mind is oscillating between fear and hope all the time. And this pranayama and meditation brings to a stage where there is neither hope nor fear. Mind comes to the middle point of absolute bliss. That is the stage which gives rest to the mind, rest to the body. All the rest is taken care of the nature's power. When you give rest to the mind, it gets recuperated. Rest gives recuperation is true for the body, true for the mind. It's one of the greatest blessings that we get through pranayama. And that the duration of it or the intensity of it will increase as you keep practicing. So one set of pranayama consists of 5 units of inhaling, holding, exhaling, holding. That's 1 unit. 5 units you do, and followed by a session of observing the normal breath with closed eyes. When the breath goes subtler and subtler and no breathing comes, that's an excellent stage. That's what we are doing this dhyana for. And stay in that stage as long as your body allows. And then when again the breathing starts, start the second set of pranayama. You started with left, now in second set you start with the right nose, inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Like that, you do 5 units. After this 5 units, again do this dhyana. Do the meditation with closed eyes and observing your normal breath. Keep on keenly observing the breath, how much air is going, how much air is coming out, and you will come to a stage where the breath becomes subtler and subtler and no breath. Continue that stage for some time as long as the body allows with no breath. Again, when the breathing starts, start the third set. Now here is one important thing about the third set. You don't hold the nose. Don't regulate the nose, left nostril, right nostril. No, nothing at all. Keep your hands down, and like the picture shown here, she is holding the nose. But the right hand also comes down, both hands down on your thighs, and do the breathing with both nostrils. You are not regulating it with this nostril or that nostril. Body will decide. Body will decide which side to take. Just breathe in, hold the breath, breathe out, hold the breath. You have to do it slowly. Don't do like that. Don't make efforts, too much effort, and make your face ugly or anything. Keep your pleasant, happy face, peaceful face. Breathe in deep, hold the breath, breathe out, hold the breath. This is not the speed, but as slow as possible. Do 5 units like that without holding the nose. After 5 units, when you're observing the normal breath, in the third set, you lie down flat on your back on a hard surface. Don't lie down on a spongy synthetic fiber like that. Don't. You have to lie down on a hard floor or a hard bench without any synthetic thing below you. And you lie down like that and observe the normal breath. You're relaxing the entire body, all the nervous system, all the flesh, muscles and everything is relaxed. And totally you go to a stage of breathlessness, thoughtlessness while you're lying down. This relaxation gives beautiful recuperation. If a person is doing, next slide please. This breathing is regulated. When you are inhaling and exhaling, you are putting your attention to it, and you are expanding your breath, your chest, and holding it, contracting your chest. You are not focusing on the chest, but you are focusing on the nasal breathing. Remember, very important instruction here, don't breathe in through the mouth ever. You can breathe out through the mouth after your nasal exhalation is completed. Try a little more exhalation through the mouth and take out some more air. But when you are breathing in, never breathe in through the mouth. Some people who are doing running, they are breathing through the mouth. Some people are singing long duration of song, in between they are breathing through the mouth. This is not good. It's not safe, because in the nose they have got filters which will filter the air and send the pure air without dust. Whereas mouth doesn't have a filter. A mouth is not a breathing organ. For blowing out, yes, you can do it. Emptying the belly, and you can take. Another important instruction here, you're seeing expansion of chest and contraction of the chest. Don't do breathing through the belly. Belly breathing is not healthy. So many people teach buck, 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 all kinds of breathing system and fast breathing, Vastikriya, I don't know what all names they have. Don't try any of those things. When you want to follow natural health science, follow this one Sahaja Pranayama, soft breathing and breathing to the extent that you can do without violence. Don't breathe in through the mouth. Breathe out, you can do any time through the mouth to remove whatever left out air is there in the belly. And don't try to blow the belly and contract the belly during breathing. Focus on your chest. Chest expansion, chest contraction. That's what happens. Don't allow the belly to be a part of it. Oh, children breathe through the belly. It's natural. So many arguments people say. That argument we'll take up some other time, or we'll explain in the tutorial classes. But here, our attention should be to expand the chest when breathing in, and automatically contraction will take place when you breathe out. Try to breathe out a little more and hold the breath. So next slide, please. So what are the benefits of pranayama? One session of pranayama that we have got 5 sets. One set will have five units, and like that 3 sets we do, and after 3 sets we do relaxation. In one session of pranayama, we purify 3 liters of blood. What is the purification here about? Carbon dioxide is removed from different parts of the body. See, when you are breathing out and holding the breath, what's happening? 2 rooms in the body. Body is one whole room, and in that 2 rooms are empty. Not really empty, almost empty. Very little air is there. What's the nature of air? If in a house, you remove air from one room that's connected to all other rooms, air from the rest of the rooms will come into that room to fill up the air. That's the nature of air. So here also, when we empty the lungs and hold the breath, air packets from different parts of the body will try to come to the lungs to fill the gap. But the air doesn't travel by itself. It goes on a ride, like a goods train. Have you seen a goods train? Long goods train, one after another. Each goods train is carrying luggage on that. And this way, blood cells form a line. And the air packets, dirty air from different parts of the body, load on into the blood cells. Now the color of the blood is dark blue or almost purple. CO2 train, it's called, carbon dioxide train. It's going towards the lungs. One after another, so many blood cells are there. They are coming towards the lungs, but they cannot find entry. The lung door is not open. What's happening there? This person is doing pranayama, man. He is breathing out and holding the breath. When will he open the door? So we are waiting. So when you are holding the breath for a longer time, more and more air packets from different parts of the body also try to come. There is an emergency. It's not being filled. It's for so long we have been seeing that those rooms are not filled yet. Come on, you also come, let's push. So more and more air packets from different parts of the body ride onto the blood cells and coming towards the lungs. What's happening now? When most of us, we experience back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain, all different places. The pain is of different reasons. Most of the pains that we experience is a gas packet. Then if you hit that place, you feel relief, and you massage the place, the gas packets get released and you get relief. It's not only inflammation that causes pain, gas packets in different places, stagnating, that also produces pain. Why? It does not allow proper circulation of blood in that area. Too much gas accumulated in that area. In the belly, intestine, so many times we experience pain and disturbance. This is because of non-movement of gases. So when you hold the breath outside and keep the lungs empty for a short time, the gas packets from different parts of the body comes towards the lungs, riding on the blood cells. Now there's one wonderful thing that happened. You have seen in walnut, right? Walnut shape and the brain shape is almost similar. You see in that slide? The walnut is called, in Latin, it's called amygdala. And when they have to do some surgery in the brain, they call it amygdalectomy. And the brain is also referred to as a walnut because of the shape. In the walnut, if you see in the detail, there are crevices. It's not just plain surface. There are crevices in all over the places. In the same structure, the brain also has got crevices. Air which is there in these crevices, they stay there for a long time because there is no emergency. The same air is there. It's not replaced with new air. So that air At this time, when you hold the breath after exhaling, they try to get out of that place. Oh my God, there is an emergency. Let's go, let's go, let's go. That gas packets kick the sides of the crevices and they come out to into the blood cells to go towards the lungs. When they kick the sides of the crevices, memory bank, data bank from the brain opens up. So much information is there in your brain, you don't know anything. Oh, I'm not even a high school pass. I have not gone to school. I didn't study physiology. I didn't study chemistry. All those things you will say, but doesn't matter. All the information that's needed, that is stored in your brain cells, which has been transferred to you by generations of parents before you. That's called DNA. In the smallest part, memory bank, you have so much information. In the Washington, DC, I went there one time. There is a museum. And in that museum, there is a glass tower. In the glass tower, there are so many resistors. Good old days, they used to have resistors in television or radios and computers. They used to operate it with resistors. This resistors is a storehouse of information, data bank. So they had only certain capacity. And then they went on improving, and then they came with a chip. And that museum, they show one chip in one window and so many resistors, thousands of them in the glass tower. Their sign says this one chip carries the memory of this 3,000 or 5,000 resistors in the glass tower. That is a scientific advancement. But this scientific advancement has been there from the time of creation. Our brain cells, brain has got such a small particles, which has got store of so much information from your great-grandfather and his great-grandfather. They transfer information, and that's all there. It's not used, it's not channeled. By doing pranayama, you can get those information available to you. When you come across a difficult situation, and if you have practiced dhyana, and you will immediately come with an answer, how to solve the problem. And when you know how to solve the problem, like the Maria, then you'll know you will not have any problem. You will be able to solve it. Don't we come across very difficult situations, and even children can suggest you something wonderful, and you say, wow, that's good. So I don't want to spend too much time, but a short story about my grandson. We had a big problem. We used to have a family meeting. In the family meeting, we used to, first of all, appreciate each one. And the second session was to complain about whatever we have difference opinion with other members. So when we complain, we have to use it in a positive sentence. So those things, details, we'll talk to you later. But one problem which I raised was we don't want to beat the children. We don't want to scold them. But how do we correct children? How do we make them do good, right things and not do the wrong things? So I was discussing in the family. Any suggestions? My grandson, who was just 8 years old at that time, 8 or 9 years old, he raised his hand and he said, I have a suggestion. I said, what? He says, credit system. In their school, they have a chart. Whatever wrong you do, you get minus points. And whatever right you do, you get plus points. So he wrote a list of things, bad habits, and a list of good things that can be done. And he wrote points for that. We said, okay, you do it. So he did it, and we have no need to scold him. Whenever he eats something wrong, then he has to himself mark it as a -2. Whenever he takes a cucumber or does exercise or something, he gets +2. Like that, if he gets 20 points, he gets 1 hour of tech time to play in the play video games or something in the week. So these, even kids can come out with wonderful answers. What I'm saying is, We all have answers for our problem, how to channel it through pranayama. Next slide, please. When we have problems, we studied earlier, our physical, mental, and spiritual health is one. When there is disharmony, when there is a mental disturbance, the entire body, we have disturbance, digestion goes bad, our strength doesn't come to our hands, so many problems we face. And when there is a physical disturbance, and when there is a physical disturbance, and the mind also gets disturbed, and there is disharmony. When you have harmony between body and mind, that I have also explained in the earlier chapter, that if you have body and mind harmony, then the spirit is peaceful, and our life will be very good. So in the same way, next slide, please. Same way, we have seen that if we do pranayama, our mind becomes peaceful, and there will be harmony between our body and mind, and the spirit also will rest good. This is about mental level. But the physically, we have not seen what is the problem in better breathing. Why are some people able to breathe better and some people are not able to breathe so well? Because the lung wall and the passage in the respiratory tract, they get congested with mucus, bad mucus. What is this bad mucus, good mucus? When we cough and we throw out some mucus, we think mucus is a waste, mucus has to be thrown out. Too much mucus he has got, all kinds of things people say. Mucus is a very useful material in the body. We need mucus as a lining in all the intestines, nerves, and arteries. Thin lining should be there, and that part of the mucus should be volatile. It should be moving from there. New mucus will come there, old mucus will move out from there. That is the system. But the kind of food that we eat generates a very bad mucus. What are the things that creates bad mucus? That's there in this picture. When you mix salt and acid, salt plus acid makes mucus. If you have very bad acid with salt, and if you cook the salt along with your food, this becomes concentrated salt, and that kind of a material, we have put tamarind, turmeric, garlic, and this is good for health, that's good for heart, this is good for lung. All those claims that people say should be examined deeply. We are going to examine that in the chapter of food. But here now we have to understand that these certain foods make bad mucus. Bad mucus means very thick and yellow and stable, not moving, dries up so soon, and the lung walls become stuck with this mucus, which dries up and holds the lung wall, and it creates pain, and we cannot breathe properly. The lungs don't expand properly because of this old mucus sticking to the internal walls of the lung. So that's very, very difficult to remove. People get asthmatic, people have so many other problems. When you get asthmatic, when your breathing becomes bad, your thought process also disturbed, and you are narrow-minded, you are afraid of so many things, you are hates people, he cannot tolerate people with good health, and you become so angry and jealous, and that produces more bad blood in your body, and it's a continuous vicious cycle. If you understand, in the food chapter, you will understand what are the right foods which will not make so much mucus, bad mucus. Mucus is necessary in our body, but good mucus and bad mucus is there. Don't make bad mucus, make good mucus. And that's what obstructs the breathing process. That's why I mentioned it here. Otherwise, we are going to deal with it in food chapter. But what I'm saying here, some people are not able to breathe properly. For them, it is better to learn what foods will make good mucus, what foods will make bad mucus, avoid foods that will make bad mucus, eat foods that will make good mucus. That has to be learned later, but that's the basis you have to understand why some people are not able to perform so well in the breathing process. Next slide, please. Most important thing is our skin is a breathing organ. Only a small part of breathing is done by the skin. Most of the part of breathing is done by our nasal breathing system. But the importance of this is not known to people. You might have seen the series of James Bond movies. There was one James Bond movie called Goldfinger, in which a person kills people by painting them, spray paint the entire body with gold color. And nobody is able to find out why this person died. There was no choking of the neck, there was no stab mark, there is no gunshot, and there was no trace of anything else. But just simply by spraying the whole body with gold paint, the pores of the skin were closed. And the person was still be able to breathe through the nose, but that was not enough. If the nasal breathing is continuing and skin breathing is stopped, you die. That's what it is proving. Another story was about the Christmas ceremony celebrated in the Vatican City. The Vatican City, or that's a country by itself. There, during the Christmas, there was one tableau after tableaus. You have seen in Republic Parade tableaus coming like that. There were so many tableaus coming on the road, street, and one tableau was having a baby Jesus. Very healthy, chubby baby was selected, and the whole body was painted gold, and they wanted to show that Jesus is special, his body shines like gold. So they kept the baby Jesus, and they put the tableau and put lights on the baby, and the baby went on the street, and everybody, Jesus, Jesus, they were so excited with that sight. But in the end of the procession, the baby died. Oh my God, we killed Jesus this way? They came to know that the cause of the death was closing the pores of the skin. We want to take an alarm or warning about one thing that most of us do. Next slide, please. We should avoid those practices. Many people use soap, shampoo, talcum powder. Talcum powder, you know what it is? It's boric acid, ant killer, and that we are putting in the body. Some people used to open the shirt and sprinkle a lot of powder. And in South India, I've seen people, children who are dark, they say, oh, he is dark, let us make him white. But they apply a lot of talcum powder. Oh, now he is looking white. After a few minutes, the perspiration comes and they have dark lines in between white face. Horrible. All these things which you think it makes you beautiful is harmful for health. Soap, when you use soap, it leaves a thin layer of soap which covers the pores of the skin. Your skin breathing becomes weak. That's very dangerous. You want to clean your hands, okay, clean your hands with soap if it is oily. In our ancient practices, did we have soap? No, we didn't have soap. But how did we clean our hands? There were so many other methods. Skin breathing should not be disturbed. And that's why, next slide, please. In place of all these lotions and makeups and all that which cover the skin of the pores of the skin, we should use other means to make the beauty enhanced, to keep the skin very, very clean. Next slide, please. And in this, our ancient practices was to use chickpea flour, green gram flour, or shikakai powder, or rita in North India. All those things were used for cleaning the hair or cleaning the body. And that was organic material, and that will easily open up the pores of the skin and not leave any stain on the skin. Or if you don't want to use any of those things, if you don't get access to that, simple things which I do is to wet a hand towel, cotton hand towel, and scrub all your body. That cleans very well. We don't need all these things. Unless you worked in grease and your hand is very dirty, pour some oil in your hand and wipe off all the massage all over the body, all over the hand, and then wipe it with a paper. It's all gone. Then cleaning your hand with this one of these powder, basin powder or anything. That's so easy. So we have our own ancient Indian methods in which we used to clean our body and we were healthy. And when we adopted the Western methods and using all the kinds of artificial materials to clean our body, our skin got covered and skin health became bad. Many people lose hair and many people have wrinkles all over the body, dry skin. All those things come because we are not using the right material to clean our skin. Next slide, please. So clothing, to enhance skin breathing, we need to wear cotton loose clothing, loose fitting cotton clothing, so that air will travel through the wide openings of the clothing and the cloth will not give you any negative current. Cloth material, cotton material is congenial to body chemistry and it's not unhealthy to wear that. Wear no clothing, that's best. Of course, in the modern civilization, they will beat me up if I suggest that. But wear clothing which are loose and porous, like air should be able to pass through. The synthetic fiber like nylon or terylene or terracotta, all those materials that we use, those are giving negative current in the body. Blood becomes dry and the skin becomes dry. A lot of itching starts, and we have to do separate measures to improve that skin health. So clothing is a very, very important aspect of our life. Give attention to that part. And next slide, please. Most important is to keep the circulation, keep our breathing better, keep our nasal and breathing system clean. We have to do plenty of running. Keep on running and improve your circulation. When you run in open air, you are looking at the expanse of land outside and influencing air touching you. That's an air bath. Touching air, air touches your body as you move on. That's an air bath. After you run, don't forget to lie down and relax. When you lie down and relax, the body becomes comfortable, very comfortable, and all the nerves and muscles and everything gets relaxed, mind gets relaxed, and you become healthier. So the air chapter has got so many aspects of it, which you have covered now. But if there is still some doubt about certain applications, you will clear it in your tutorials. Now here, all that I would say is blood purification. Air is important. Blood purification is done through air. All the blood which is cleaned in the lungs, they don't stay in the lungs. First, they come in a dark blue or almost purple color towards the lungs. And when in the lungs, when you breathe in deep and hold the breath, interchange of gas takes place. All the carbon dioxide and other gases, which are dirty gases from the body, that is thrown out, and oxygen is received by the body. How do you know which is oxygen? It's all conglomerated air. How do you know which is oxygen, which is carbon dioxide? Body knows. That is what makes us believe that the body has its own sense to detect bad from good. And we are going to see in the food chapter how our tongue has got inspectors who will inspect bad food and good food and warn you ahead of time. That's why chewing is necessary. Like that, here, holding the breath is essential to examine the air in a more thorough manner and interchange gases. We can't do a pranayama all our life, but we should allocate time in the morning, afternoon, evening, different timings, so that we will be able to devote to our better health. Better health comes from better lifestyle. Healthy lifestyle gives us health. So running is very important. Just like in running, you can do yogasana, different asanas, bending, stretching. Most important thing that we have to note here is the world of people who is teaching yogasana and who are practicing. I go to this school, I did, there's a more famous school, I want to learn breathing, yogasana, all that kind of thing, people go there. But the most important thing I have seen that has been neglected in yogasana is to associate our asanas with breathing. When you stretch your hand, you inhale and stretch your hand, and that will allow better holding of the breath, better allowing of more air in the lungs. And when you hold it for some time, hold it as long as you can hold. And when you can't hold it anymore, start breathing out and doing the bending exercise. When you do the bending exercise, keep on breathing out. Don't breathe in again. Keep on breathing out. And when you reach the final pose, hold the breath as long as you can comfortably hold. When you can't hold it anymore, then start breathing again and go to the extension program. Every yogasana is combined with bending and stretching alternately. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. All this can be incorporated in your yoga exercise, and that's how yogasana becomes more useful to you. Not by just bending down and continuing to breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. They are just counting 1, 2, 3. How many seconds did you hold the posture? Holding the posture is not important. Holding the breath along with the posture, that's more important. If you have not done it, you have not done yogasana properly. And there are so many such instructions. But in the scope of this, this course, I have given you all the details that's important, and you can discuss this with your tutors in detail. Thank you. Namaste.